Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is 1200 hours, January 14th, a Wednesday, 2026. You're in the studio with Aladay Mobile Media. And as I discussed yesterday, we're going to talk about homeowners insurance exposed today. Um, the host of this thing is John Dwayne. Let me see here. Let's listen to what he has to say for just a minute. This is an introduction to the website.
Hello everyone, I'm JD with HOI Exposed. Today I want to talk about where all the profits go when insurance companies don't have years of large payoffs. Today you are going to hear my opinion as to what happens to us homeowners. This video is going to explain how insurance corporate greed affects all of us high-paying premium policyholders. The crying game, how insurance companies always win and homeowners always lose. Every year, millions of U.S. Americans send in their homeowners insurance premiums, month after month, year after year, like clockwork. It's a peace of mind payment, a quiet hope that if disaster ever strikes, there's a safety net waiting to catch us. But when the sky cracks open, when fires roar through our towns, hurricanes level our homes, or record snow collapses rooftops and buildings, suddenly those same insurance companies that promised us protection turn into penny pinchers singing the same sad song. We just can't afford this kind of loss. It's unsustainable. It's a catastrophe. Cue up the violins. The insurance industry, with its billion-dollar bottom lines, puts on its annual crying game after every large-scale disaster, painting themselves as the victims of climate change, fraud, or unforeseen risks. And then the hammer falls. Seriously, this is what is happening in the insurance world. I'm not joking. Some of these insurance companies create a sense that they are the victims here. Are you kidding me? Rates skyrocket. Policies get dropped. Coverage shrinks. Meanwhile, these corporations never mention the countless years without disaster where they quietly raked in profits hand over fist. They don't bring up the decades of low claims, of stable weather cycles, of policyholders paying premiums and never filing a claim. They certainly don't talk about the interest they made in those dollars, or the bonuses their CEOs took home, or the dividends shelled out to investors year after year. Honestly, this is what is happening, and these companies are getting away with it. Heaven forbid that the CEOs or their investors to take a cut, so they put their losses onto us, the policyholders. I thought we as policyholders were the reason that these insurance companies were in existence. You see, insurance companies bank on your silence. They count on the public not noticing that in their world, they always win. Remember, one of my favorite sayings, insurance companies are like casinos. They want you to play, but they don't want you to win. When times are good, they profit. When times are bad, they raise your premiums or drop you. You must love a business platform that creates a win-win every single time they write a policy. Why is it that the policyholder gets screwed? And the insurance companies, you know, the ones with all the money, win every time. Where is their so-called shared risk? Where's the shared risk they preach about? Where's the responsibility to be ready, to hold reserves the way they insist homeowners must? It's nowhere. Because the industry as it stands today is not about protection, it's about profit. Let's be real, we as homeowners are getting squeezed. We follow the rules, we insure our homes, we pay on time, and when disaster strikes, instead of help, we get nothing but excuses, delays, denials, underpayments, and a trail of red tape designed to wear us down. The insurance industry, bloated with corporate greed, has gamed the system. They've mastered the art of appearing broke while posting record profits. They've turned disaster into an opportunity, not for rebuilding homes, but for restructuring policies to benefit themselves. And still, somehow, we, the insured, becomes the villain, accused of fraud, of exaggeration, of not understanding the policy. We are left battling for scraps while executives sign off on new yachts or personal aircraft. For fun, Google how much these CEOs are making with all these insurance companies. It's astronomical and it sickens my stomach. Here's the truth. If an industry can afford billions in executive compensation and shareholder payouts, it can afford to honor the claims to the people who keep it alive. But that's not the business model. The business model is simple. Take as much as possible, give as little as possible, and blame the weather. So, let's call it what it is. a rigged system, a game of smoke and mirrors where the deck is stacked and the homeowner always loses. Insurance companies can silence us individually, but they can't silence us in numbers. Again, please join in this movement and join in and let your stories be heard. Let the world know what these insurance companies are doing. Homeowners insurance corporate greed and rampant, and it needs to stop. These insurance companies don't stop. They want more and more from us homeowners. We go broke while they get richer. If you can, and only if you can afford to donate, please do so. Please like and share this video to everyone that you know. Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. As always, everyone stay safe out there. I look forward to seeing you in our next video. Please like and share this video. I'm JD and I'm out of here for now.
Okay, that's his introduction. A very interesting take here. And of course, everything he just got through saying is right. If you've ever made an insurance claim, and I wish this website was around when I had a problem making an insurance claim. Let's take a look at the About Us page. He has over 15 years experience as an independent contractor for FEMA, conducted more than 22,000 housing inspections following disasters. Of course, FEMA are the ones that go in when you like have Hurricane or Katrina or Harvey or any of the big hurricanes down there. Tornadoes, big major tornadoes and storms in the Midwest, stuff like that. Let's see here. Share your story, have your voice heard. If you have a problem or you have a question, go to this website because I'm telling you, the information you're going to find here, you're going to not only get a little bit of education, number one, but you're going to be interacting with people that have the same issues you have. If you're looking for answers on homeowners insurance, you're going to run into somebody else on this website that is doing the same thing. Calling on all professionals, engineers, public adjusters, attorneys, influencers, celebrities, contractors. Let's see what it says on Show More here. I don't know how to say enough about. I've never seen, number one, there is there's a field for this. Nobody else is doing anything like this that I have seen. You got large claims. Call in the big dogs, he says. Get a lawyer and a public adjuster. You want them on your side because what's going to happen is they're going to send their public adjuster. Now, I'm going to bounce a couple things. Here's a couple experiences I've had. One was a girl I was living with at the time. Somebody T-boned her in the road, and she owned a Chrysler LeBaron limited edition. I forget the year it was. But when we took, she went, I told her, I said, before you have anything done, take this to the dealership and get their numbers. She goes to the Chrysler dealer, and because it's a limited edition, there were specialized parts. I think it came in at like close to $3,000 or $4,000, the damages. She goes to this assurance guy that the insurance company sent her to, an adjuster, and he starts making notes and getting on his little computer thing and finding parts, and he comes back with like $1,200. I said, $1,200, dude. Where are you getting your parts? Oh, we're getting them here and here and here. There were junkyard parts. And I simply told him, I said, you know what? I'm not quite sure if you realize what this means on the side of this car right here. And I pointed out limited edition. I go, can you read that? And he said, yeah, it says limited edition. I said, do you have any understanding of what that means? He goes, yeah, it's a limited edition. They didn't make very many of them. I go, bingo. That means it's worth more than all the other Chrysler LeBarons on the road. Now, you're going to pay for factory parts or this ain't getting done and we're going to go to court. Simple as that. I turned around and walked away. We got back in the car and left. When it was all said and done, they paid for the factory parts. They didn't get away with what they wanted to do. My second experience was when I was developing the farm out in Silver Springs, Nevada. We had a really bad windstorm. And we get winds out there that can be hellacious, 80, 90 mile an hour winds sometimes. Well, one day we got a bad windstorm, and I found out two things. First, I put my greenhouse in the wrong direction. I constructed it. And the second was that my farm ranch policy, think about this for a minute, did not have crop damage coverage. Why else would somebody get a farm ranch policy if not for you have large animals and they may cause damage to something, or you're going to lose crops? Farm ranch. You grow things, you have products. Because I did not request the greenhouse and crop damage, it wasn't there. Basically, what I had, and this was through farmers, if I'm not mistaken, basically what the agent sold me was a second homeowner's insurance policy. I'm talking to the guy on the phone because when the adjuster comes out, he climbs up on my roof. And we had the tar paper shingles on the roof. And I think 2, maybe 3 blew off. They were down in the yard. You can silicone them back on and tuck them in. It's not a problem. I asked him, I go, what are you climbing on my roof for? He goes, well, that's what I'm here to look at. I go, no, you're not. You're here to assess the damage on my greenhouse and all the plants I lost. I lost $60,000 in plants, and I lost a $2,000 greenhouse structure. That's what you're here for. He goes, oh, no, I'm not. I'm here to look at your roof. I said, well, you can go home. I get on the phone to the insurance agent, and I asked him, and he goes, well, you never requested that. I hung up on him. Next day, I went to his office. I walked around the yard talking to myself all day. That's how pissed I was. I go in, and I'm sitting at his desk, and I say, so let me see if I understand this correctly. You sold me a farm ranch policy, and it basically had the same coverage as the homeowner's policy? He goes, that's correct. I leaned across the desk. My nose was about that far from his nose. I said, what in the fuck is wrong with you? Out of the corner of my eye, I see his secretary go to grab the phone. And I just turned around and walked out of the office. I knew she was calling the police, thinking I was going to thump his melon. That is what insurance agents do. If you have a problem, if you have questions, go to this website. You're going to find what you're looking for. Let me see here. Latest articles. Doug Quinn in the American Policy, homeowners insurance claims being denied at alarming rates. Let me tell you something. If you're down in Southern California, bozo over there getting rid of all the insurance and whatever happened, and then they had the big fires, and this kind of borders a conspiracy theory, I know, but the scuttlebutt talk behind the scenes is they want to make a 15-minute city out of that area. And this 15-minute city stuff is getting into the World Economic Forum and control by the elites over the masses, that is you and I, just the regular everyday folk that pay all the bills and keep the rock and world going around. Um, that whether that's true or not, I don't know. I'm just saying that is the scuttlebutt going on. That's the backroom talk that you hear, and of course they call those people tinfoil hatties, but at the same time, they kind of tell you what they're doing. So, um, if you're down there in the Southern California area where all those fires were, and you lost your home, this is a website you want to come to and look at. Maybe even schedule an interview with John Dwayne and navigating fire insurance claims. I spoke to this guy, and I think he might have a fire marshal or some kind of fire guy talk about fires and maybe how to protect your home against fire. Build uh, what they call defensible space around your homes. I know, like up here at Lake Tahoe, where I am, that is a huge business in the land. It's a kind of a subsect of the landscaping maintenance business because they come out there and you have the fire marshals come out and they tag different trees on your property that will create a danger to your home. And you have somebody come out and remove them, and they charge a buttload of money to do it. It's about $700 an hour to have a crew come out and build defensible space. But at the same time, something like that will help your insurance rates and it will help protect your home. I mean, let's be real. They, I don't know where all these politicians get off calling it the American dream to own a home. I'm sorry, but you grow up in a house, an apartment, some kind of dwelling. There comes a day when you leave mom and dad's home and you either go to work real hard, save some money up, buy your own home, or you rent apartments or you rent a house. But somewhere along the line, you're owning a piece of property, whether it be on a temporary basis through rental fees, or you have purchased a house and you have a mortgage on it. So uh, I'm not going to get into mortgage insurance because that's a whole different animal than this is here. Uh, but it's like I said, this is really, really a good site. Here you go, understanding flood insurance. And this guy, he, as a FEMA inspector, he's seen a lot of damage to homes. So he's a good person to listen to and talk to. Understanding your home insurance declaration page. What I didn't read when I got the farm ranch policy. Homeowners are entitled to compensation from smoke and soot. Take a look at what that says. Why homeowners are entitled to compensation for smoke and soot. I don't know if you've ever been around a place that's been partially burned. The rest of the house is covered in smoke damage and soot. You basically have to go in, uh, re- replace, if the frames are not damaged in the house, in your windows, you'll at least have to replace the glass because you can't get the crap off the glass. It just doesn't come off. Um, Walls need washing and painting. And stuff like this is stuff that insurance agents will kind of try to shuck off, as kind of sweep it under the rug so they don't have to pay it. One of the things that I learned in the conversation I had with Mr. Dwayne, Google this phrase. Why would an insurance company send a structural engineer to my home to assess damage. Just Google that phrase and see what you come up with. And then you'll understand how important this website is. Let's see what he has under more. What is bad faith? Bad faith. A public adjuster or an attorney can better interpret what is bad faith. That's true. That you're probably getting into where you're starting to split hairs with legal stuff. Very important right there. These people are not a legal entity, and they're not offering legal advice. They're just stating facts as they've come across them in research and what they've put together here. What constitutes bad faith? Bad faith is the insurance industry occurs when a company fails to uphold its legal and contractual obligations to policyholders. Again, had I known about this website or had it existed when I was going back and forth with my insurance people, I would have come at them with a bad faith claim. Because what they did by selling me a farm ranch policy without crop damage, who the hell has a farm that doesn't grow anything? Think about that for a minute. So you're an insurance agent, you sell some guy a farm ranch policy and you don't include crop loss damage? I'm just asking. I mean, why would you get a farm ranch insurance policy if it didn't include crop loss? I have yet to see a farm of any kind, whether it be 1 acre or 1,000 acres, not grow a product for sale. Whether they're a small guy using an acre of land and he participates in the local farmers markets, or he's the $1 million acre corn grower in Kansas that's growing the Monsanto GMO corn to feed all the hungry kids in Africa. They grow a crop. So you have to have that insured in case you lose. It put us in a really bad jackpot because we lost $60,000 plus the greenhouse structure because of the windstorm. It was not covered. And here's what really jerked my chain. When the insurance adjuster came to the property and I tell him what he's there for, and he's telling me, no, I'm not here. They just sent me out to look at your roof, dude. I don't have anything to do with all this. He reported I had horses. My homeowner's insurance policy went up. Think about that one. But they weren't covered on the farm ranch policy. Needless to say, I got rid of the farm ranch policy. But when something happens on your house, you want to get, I mean, we all hear it about attorneys, the evils and all that kind of stuff. But in a crisis situation where there's a lot of money at stake, your home, something you've worked for all your life, you've made improvements in it, you've grown a yard, you've landscaped your yard, you've done all these things to fit you and your wife's needs and wants and all that kind of stuff. You have children running around the yard, so you got a fence on the yard, but you've invested money. It is never a bad idea to get somebody with a legal mind involved. It's never a bad idea to ask other people's opinions of what's going on. I know it's kind of taboo to go share your problems with the neighbors and all that kind of stuff, but sometimes it's not a bad idea to say, hey, what would you do? You know, I mean, just ask questions. When it comes to the destruction of your home, whether it be you got too much snow on your roof and the roof caved in. You had wind blowing. You had that sideways rain that Forrest Gump talked about in his movie over there in Vietnam. We had sideways rain, and it messes all the paneling up on your house, your siding and stuff like that. It blows up underneath the shingles and it starts messing with your roof. Your windows might get a tree branch blown through them or something. This all falls under homeowners insurance items that can be claimed. They're not your fault. You didn't throw the rock through the window. The weather did it, and that's what the insurance is for. And it's here's what you heard him say something. You pay your insurance premiums, and it goes on and on and on, and you do all this. Have you ever got a discount on your car insurance? Let me ask you this. Let's say you're 26 years old. You've had auto insurance now for 10 years. You never even had a ticket. Not one ticket. Not a parking violation. Nothing. You obeyed every driving law there was, every rule that pertains to your car. Do you get a discount on your insurance? Do you get any of that money back? It's the same thing as what is it called? Oh, I'm drawing a blank on what it's called. If you have a business, you also have to have a type of insurance that covers injuries, workman's comp insurance. If you have a business for 20 years and you've never had an employee get injured on the job, you have monthly safety meetings, do you ever get a discount or a rebate or any kind of break on your insurance premiums? Why? For Aladay Mobile Media, take a look here at Homeowners Insurance Exposed. I will put this link in the description. I will also put a statement that I have. If you want, email info at, don't use the word email, just info at, I'll also put that in. Info at homeownershoiexposed.com. If you have an issue and you'd like to go on and discuss your issue and present your case in a podcast format, send them an email, describe your issue real brief, and JD, John Dwayne, Mr. Dwayne, he will get back to you. I guarantee it. It's like I said, he wants to get some professional people, fire people that know about, how to protect your home from fire with what is called defensible space. Himself was a FEMA guy, so he knows a lot about inspecting properties after a storm, after some kind of damage has happened. And it's a wealth of knowledge on this website, ladies and gentlemen. I will say that. So I will put the information in the description on this production here. And like I said, it's never going to hurt you to ask questions. It will never hurt to ask questions. And he does have videos on the YouTube at HOI Exposed. Go over there and take a look at some of the videos they got going on. And like I said, if you want to have a conversation with him, do a podcast. You're welcome to do that. He'll have you on. If you don't want to be seen, that's understandable. Discuss that with them and they'll figure something out. For Aladay Mobile Media, to all our military personnel, thank you for your service. Thanks for tuning in. to this website review of Homeowners Insurance Exposed. Let's have a great day, folks. Let's all be safe out there, huh?